Hi, my name is Nicole, and today we're going to learn about passive voice. But before we learn and dig a little deeper about passive voice, we need to understand three main things or the three main parts of passive voice. The first thing first is what. The second is when do we use passive voice. And the third, after we know what is passive voice and when do we use passive voice, we need to learn how to use passive voice. We're going to move on to the first part, passive voice meaning. Passive voice is a grammatical structure used when the subject of a sentence receives the action of the verb rather than performing the action. So passive voice focuses more on the subject rather than the action. So when do we use passive voice? The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. Again, who experiences the action rather than who performs the actions. In the other words, the most important thing on passive voice or the person becomes the subject of the sentence. The most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. So when we use passive voice, the subject of the sentence is the most important thing or the person. It will become the subject of the sentence. To make it simple, how do we say this? Are we going to say this like, the man is being hit by a car, or the car is hitting the man? Both are grammatically correct, or it only depends on what we focuses on. The first sentence focuses on the man because it shows the man is being hit by a car. But the second sentence is focuses more about the car. The car is hitting the man. But as human, we tend to focuses on the man. So that's why most of us might say the man is being hit by a car. Again, both are grammatically correct. It only depends on what we focuses on, either the man or the car. So how? We move on to how to use passive voice. The first is the English tenses. We need to recognize and make us well prepared with the English tenses, well known about the English tenses. The second is the past participle. We need also to recognize the past participle. And the third is the verb to be and how flexible it can be. Please pause this video about the patterns of how to use passive voice. These are the patterns of how to use passive voice. Simple is MR with the present, past was were, future will be. Progressive is MR plus being, and if we're moving to the past, was, were plus being, future will be plus being. Perfect, present, have or has plus been, past had plus been, and future will have plus been. Perfect progressive, have or has plus been plus being. The perfect progressive for the past, had plus been plus being. And for the perfect progressive for future, we'll move on to will, have plus been plus being. That's all for today's lesson about passive voice. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.